So, Frédéric, when and why Drouhin became a biodynamic wine?
We started in 1988 to move from conventional farming to organic. And I don't know what you, if you know the difference between organic and non-organic. So, because we realized that we were, like everybody, using some chemicals to protect the vineyards. We were using some fertilizer to feed the vines, but we were losing something. Maybe the vineyards were better looking, but the wines were not as good as they used to be. And also we were reading in some professional documentation that the use of some chemicals used 10, 20, 30 years ago had a negative impact on the environment. So we said to ourselves, we are certainly heading to the wall if we continue to farm our vineyards like this. So we decided to go to the organic culture. And you have to understand that to move from chemical to conventional to organic, 75 hectares at once was quite of a challenge. Because also we have vineyards spread over 150 kilometers. It's not like Bordeaux where you have one chateau surrounded by vineyards. There it's 60 appellations over 150 kilometers.
It's a lot.
It was very expensive to do it. We had also to convince our workers that it was also better for them by using only sulfur, copper and clay in the vineyard. And we saw after 10 years that the vineyards were behaving very positively and that the grapes had more taste. And we said to ourselves, if the grapes have more taste, they will bring more complexity to the wine. And that convinced us to move even further, and moving further was to move to biodynamic. The biodynamic is 80% of organic, but also you take into consideration a lunar calendar, which will tell you which are the days where the vineyards make some roots or make some leaves, because the plants never grow at the same time, both leaves or roots. It's one or the other. And under the biodynamic philosophy, you follow, you try to accompagner this trend to stimulate either the growth of the roots or the growth of the leaves with plants, infusion of plants with some crystal, with some silicium. That has proven to be very successful in our vineyard.
Fantastic. I love biodynamic, and I think world is happy for your decision.
But for us, it's not marketing.
No.
We don't write it on the label.
I know that.
It's not a marketing gimmick, because many people today are using
only for advertising.
Organic culture biologique in French. They are not totally biologique, because if you do the biologique or the organic, you take some risk. Sometimes Mother Nature can be very tough with you. You take the risk to lose part or all of your crop. And then the chemicals could maybe help you save that harvest. So some people said to us, well, Monsieur Drouhin, you like everybody, you pretend you do organic, but between the two of us, you don't do. So we were so ashamed by that feeling that we said we should ask for the certification. And an organism came to certify the whole estate. It took 3 years, and after 3 years they said yes, the domain Joseph Drouhin is organic, and we have the EcoCert certification.
Okay, and Frédéric, comparing to the other way to make wines, you have more people working for you in the biodynamic wines?
It's more labor intensive if you are under biodynamic, because you need to go more often in your vineyards. The level of protection you're using is very minimal. It's like homeopathy. It's a few grams of, let's say, stinging needle or horsetail per hectare. Per hectare. So it's a half a teaspoon. So sometimes people say, you're ridiculous, it cannot work that way. But come in my vineyard, and if you come in my vineyard, you will see butterflies, spiders, beetles, and worms, and we believe this whole wildlife environment help the vineyards to produce better grapes and hence better wines.
Fantastic. All balance.
Yes.
All in balance.
It's
equilibrium.
This is also what we want in our wines. That's a question I am often asked. What is the style of Joseph Drouhin? So we have some beliefs, and I must say we produce wines we like to drink and to share.
Fantastic.
What I like about my wines is the balance and the elegance. I don't like alcoholic, sugary, oaky wine. I like the freshness, I like the complexity of the bouquet. If I take a simple wine like a Bourgogne Rouge, I want obvious fruits, I want some freshness, some light tannins. If I pick my Clos des Mouches, I want more of this wine, I want the complexity, and I want wine to change over the course of the dinner. Not just food, but the complexity, some light spices. And for that you need to do a good job in the vineyard and a reasonable job in the winery. It's not a question of technique, because if you use too much technique when you vinify the wine, you tend to standardize. But it is in the human nature to try to improve. Or we believe, mankind believe that if they do something, they will correct, they will improve. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. You should keep down and say, okay, give some time to time, things will happen smoothly and naturally. And that's the discussion we have with my father, my sister, because it's family business, Joseph Drouhin, when we try the wine. Sadly, I am not at the winery today, but when we're all together at the winery every morning, evening, to taste the wines fermenting, we decide what to do or not to do. And it happens that there are days where leave the vat alone, don't intervene, or other days when we said, okay, we need to maybe heat a little bit, or to do some punching down or pumping over. But every year, on every rat, the rule will change.
Fantastic. It's music for my ears.
Sorry.
It's music for my ears.